Hello and welcome to our Prosperity Central training, where we're going to talk about how to get more done in less time using the Prosperity Central system. Once again, my name is Jeff Osnes. I'm your presenter. I'm going to be walking you through this training. So without further ado, let's jump into our topic for this video. On this video, I want to continue the concept of following up. I want to make sure that we have a clear, or you have a clear idea of how you're going to follow up with your contacts. And we want to take the follow-ups, not the appointments, but the follow-ups. I want to go down that path a little bit more today. We'll probably have a few more videos on the follow-up process just to make sure that you understand all of the different ways that we can do this. But today we're going down the follow-up process just a little bit further, and I want to talk to you about that. So let's jump over to contacts and let's go to our follow-up folder. Now keep in mind, I only have one here. I'm going to change that. Let's go ahead and bring a couple more sample contacts into our follow-up folder, just so that we have more to play with on our training today. So let's move these records over into our follow-up folder. And now we've got a few of them here. I want you to kind of understand, as you start to work with your leads, your prospects, your follow-up folders are going to start getting filled up. And it's really easy when you only have 4 follow-ups to remember where Sally Prospect is, where the Oracle is, multiple man, where everybody stands, because you only have a few of them. But once you start getting 10, 20, 50, 100 follow-ups in here, then it starts to get more difficult. So let's jump into each one of these. Let's make sure they all have a follow-up date. So Sally has the 14th. Let's go here to the Joker. He doesn't have a follow-up date. Let's say his follow-up date was already passed. So let's go back to sometime last week. Let's go to our next one and let's set this one to, let's say this one has a follow-up date of today, the 12th. And then let's do another one. We're going to throw this one out into the future as well. Okay, so there we go. Let's go back to our list. We've got our 4 sample contacts in our follow-up folder. Now I'm doing it with just a few contacts rather than a whole bunch, because I want to make sure that you understand what we're doing here. And it's going to be easier for us to kind of talk through this concept when we have just a few of them. And you're going to want to have this figured out early on in the game. You don't want to wait until you have hundreds and hundreds of contacts in here. Now, what we talk about is certainly something that you'll be able to apply and work with once you've got hundreds of contacts in here. But ideally, you want to get this process figured out early in the game, because this is what's going to help you be effective. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that when we come to our follow-up folder, now imagine you do have a lot of contacts in here. Right now we only have 4, so it'd be kind of easy for us to go, oh yeah, I remember I talked to Sally the other day, and I told her that I was going to follow up with her at some point in the future, and that date was, whatever. And the Joker, yeah, I remember him. It's going to be easy for you to kind of keep track of these people when there's just a handful of them, just a few of them, right? And that's another reason why it's important for you to kind of figure out this process early on, when it's easy for you to find holes in your process. What we're going to actually be doing is I'm going to show you how you can take this list and you can make sure that you're only looking at the ones you really need to care about today. Right? So if somebody has a follow-up in the future, we don't care about them today. We care about them as people, but we don't need to follow up with them today, because based off of our previous conversation, we have told ourselves that that follow-up needs to happen in the future. So we're going to create a simple process for us to follow on a daily basis so that we never miss our follow-ups. And we're going to use the advanced search for this. We're going to click on the advanced search menu up here. Now, we're not going to do a complete advanced search training. We're just going to talk about using the advanced search for this specific problem that we're trying to solve for right now. We want to make sure that we're only looking at the contacts that have a follow-up today, somebody that we need to focus on today, not somebody it's not time. And right now we're seeing everybody. So we're going to go to the advanced search. The advanced search has tons of options in here. Like I said, we're not going to go through all of these options. We're going to focus on 2 sections in the advanced search: folder. So we're going to expand folder, and we're going to choose our follow-up folder. Essentially, we're telling the system, I want to do a search that's looking for anybody in the follow-up folder. So we're looking for anybody in the follow-up folder. And then the other thing is we want to look at our custom field, our follow-up date custom field. We want to go in here and take a look at our follow-up date custom field, and we want to find anybody who has a follow-up date of today. Or maybe anybody with a follow-up date of today or older, just in case maybe we didn't get to our follow-ups the previous day, or maybe we were sick and we just didn't work our business, or we were on vacation. Hopefully you've earned like some bonus trip and you were out on vacation with the company, right? So whatever that might be, you might not have been able to do the follow-ups that you may have needed to have done previously. So we may need to consider what days that we're looking for. So let's just talk about on today's date. So we're doing on today's date, the 12th. We'll do apply and hit search. And there we've got one contact, the one contact with a follow-up date of today. So that helps us kind of eliminate all of the fluff, all of the other people that we don't need to look at, that we don't need to focus on, right? We want to be laser focused when we come in to work. If we've only got an hour to work our business, we want to make sure that that hour is as focused as possible. So doing a quick advanced search, if we look in our follow-up folder for anybody that has a follow-up date of today, boom, we're ready to go. Now, what if we missed some time, right? Let's say maybe we were out of town over the last week. So we might want to do between some specific dates. So we could say anything that was between, let's say the 5th and the 12th, and do a search. And that gets us two people. That gives us one that was from last week and then the one that's scheduled for today, right? So that's another thing that we might want to consider is how we're searching, how we're using the search options for the custom fields follow-up date. Of course, we could also do before a specific date. We could say, hey, I'm looking for anything before, let's say the 13th, because that would include the 12th, right? So we do anything before the 13th, hit search, and that gives us those same two people. That gives us everything that has a follow-up date that was before tomorrow, which would be today and older, right? Now, this all requires us to come in here, go to contacts, go to our advanced search, and then we have to remember all of these settings. We have to come in here and say, okay, I'm looking in the follow-up folder and I'm looking for follow-up date, choose date. We have to decide what it is that we want. What if we know that we're going to do this every day? If we just know that this is something that we're going to do every day, we can make things even faster, even simpler, even more efficient using the system. That's what I love about the system. There's so much flexibility here. And what we can do is we can actually save a search. We can decide the criteria that we want, save it, and then it's always ready for us to go. And it's always ready to go for us when we log into our account. But the problem that we'll run into is if we just do, hey, I'm looking for anybody on the 12th, and if I were to save that, if I were to give it a name here, today's callbacks and hit search. The problem with this is it's only looking for people. Let's go in here and edit that save search. It will always only look for people that have a follow-up date on the 12th. Tomorrow, that's no good for us. A week from now, that's no good for us as a saved search. So we end up having to edit this saved search, edit this search all the time. So we're going to use some other options in this follow-up date section here. Rather than choosing on a specific date, we're going to choose one of these options: today and before, today and after, days ago exact, before X days ago, after X days ago. So we could do something like, hey, if today's callback should always be people who have a callback today, I could go today, days ago exact, and then set that to 0, because 0 days ago is always today. Hit apply, hit update search, and you'll see it gives me that same contact. Now tomorrow, it will only give me contacts that have a follow-up date on tomorrow's date. In 3 weeks, it'll only give me contacts that have a follow-up date on that date. So it's constantly updating. It's constantly correct. It's always correct. And so I can, when I log in and I go to my contacts, I can go down to my saved searches, click on today's callbacks, and boom, I have my callbacks that I need to do today. And once again, that's looking just for people who need a callback today, who in the past I told myself, today's the day I need to call them back because today's the day we're going to move this forward, right? Now, there's some problems with that. If we're only looking at today, What about when we take a vacation? What about when we earn that bonus trip with the company, right? And we take a week off. Now we've got a bunch of people that we missed. Now we can always do an advanced search and find those people because we know that we missed a week. We can always go back and find those people. But another thing that you might want to consider is editing this saved search, going into our custom field, and rather than doing days ago exact, we could do today and before. That would be everybody who has a follow-up date today and before today. If we apply that and then update our search, you'll see that that will always give us today and older. So when we come back here to contacts, so when tomorrow comes, we go to contacts, we can go to our saved search, today's callbacks, and then we see everybody who has a follow-up date that is today or older. We can then jump in here, start doing our follow-up calls, follow-up emails, whatever it is, whatever stage we're at with that specific prospect, that specific contact, we do that, and we would know what we need to do based off of our notes, not our memory. Remember, we're going to add notes to these contact records so that when we pull up this record in the future, so our future self can thank us, say, hey, past self, I'm super thankful that you put good notes in here so that when I open up this record, I know exactly what to do, so I can either send them an email or call them. I can just get that done and move on to the next prospect, right? So keep that in mind. You want to make sure that you are always adding good notes. That way you can just zip through your contacts. Next, things like that, right? So that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. I wanted to make sure that you understood how you can simplify that follow-up process. You can go from the follow-up folder being a big chunk, a big group of contacts, and really limit that list to just the people you need to focus on, just the people you need to care about today. Because we're only looking at 4 right now. 2 of these I don't need to care about right now. As of today, I don't need to care about them. It's not that I don't care about them as people, but as prospects, I don't need to focus on them because my previous interactions have told me that today's not the right day. So it's kind of pointless. It's distracting for me to look at all 4 of these contacts when I don't need to, when I can create a simple process, and these are the ones I need to focus on today. And then what I do, this is what I recommend, is that you look at your today's callbacks at least twice a day. Once in the morning, once when you get started, whether that's the morning or the evening or whatever, once you get started, and then just before you wrap up for the day, maybe go through it one more time just to make sure that you have done everything you need to do with those follow-ups. Maybe go in there and update their follow-up dates. But I'm a big fan of going through that follow-up when I first come into the office and then before I leave the office to make sure I didn't miss anybody, to make sure I've got that cleaned up so that future Jeff is thankful that he knows what to focus on, and he's not going, okay, I did talk to this person. Why are they still in my follow-up, my follow-up save search, my today's callbacks, or whatever you ultimately call that save search. So if you'll do this, if you'll create that process, make sure that you have a custom field to manage that callback date. Make sure that you're using that. In fact, we need to do a training on how to create a custom field. I'm making a mental note right now. That's going to be one of my next trainings. We'll talk about how to create custom fields on the system. I'm not going to put it into this one. I'm going to restrain myself from trying to overload you with too much in one training. But you need to make sure you have that follow-up process down. Keep watching these trainings. I'm going to continue to help you mold your system so that you can get the most out of this system and take your business to the next level. And let's go ahead and wrap up with our call today. Once again, Prosperity Central is going to help you boost sales and growth. I hope you're really starting to see how the system is going to start to help you boost sales and growth. It is super simple. As you're seeing, at least I'm hoping you're seeing that this is a lot simpler than many other CRMs out there. I don't know if you've ever looked at stuff like Salesforce. Salesforce is the 10,000 pound gorilla in the industry of contact management. Super complicated. We're so focused with Prosperity Central on the home business industry, you don't really have to think about a lot. You just have to get in there and start using it. And that's what these videos are for, to help you even further simplify that process. We help you present your opportunity. We haven't got into a lot of that just yet, as far as configuring the website, making sure that you got your videos and everything, but you should have done that as you went through the welcome steps. Obviously, we help you organize your contacts. That's what we've been focusing on. The price is phenomenal. Helps you track your contact activities, build a second income stream. I hope you're really starting to see how this system can help you not only build your income, but when you start to teach your team how to use this, you're going to build an income stream through Prosperity Central's affiliate program. And of course, we're mobile friendly, so you can easily access and work through your contacts when you're mobile on your phone. And of course, let's talk about pricing. We have the basic account, $0 a month, free forever. You should not be at the basic account level. If you're watching these videos, then I'm assuming you are serious about building an income from home, and you should be at least at the professional account. Now, you may have many members of your team on the basic account, which is what we'll talk about in the Premier. When we really start to talk about those Premier features, there's going to be lots of reasons for your team, everybody on your team, to have at least the basic account. But you should be at the professional or the Premier account to help you manage, organize, and follow up with your contacts. And I hope you're really starting to see that. We've only scratched the surface. Literally, we've only scratched the surface. If you've been watching my videos, if you haven't watched all my earlier videos, make sure you go back and watch the videos. But we have only scratched the surface of this system, and I hope you've seen the value of $24.95, at least in what we've talked about so far. If you haven't seen that, I apologize. I'm not doing my job very well here, but contact management is critical to building and maintaining an organization, building any company. If you're not properly managing and organizing your prospects, you're losing business. You're losing business. So I hope you're seeing that value. But like I said, Prosperity Central has an affiliate program. And if you haven't set up your own Prosperity Central account, go get one today. Go to prosperitycentral.biz. That's my affiliate link. prosperitycentral.biz. That's my affiliate link. Get an account there, start getting it configured, start adding your contacts daily, start doing your follow-ups from within the system, and watch your business over the next 30, 60, 90 days start to really increase momentum. Thank you again, and happy prospecting.